When you hear the name Salma Hayek, chances are your brain doesn't immediately leap to disturbing art, shady nonprofits, or eyebrow-raising tax filings. You're more likely to picture her red carpet elegance, magnetic screen presence, or her iconic role in Frida. But recently, the internet's favorite conspiracy diggers have started connecting some unsettling dots, and they all seem to lead back to Hayek, her fashion mogul husband François-Henri Pinault, and some disturbing allegations surrounding Balenciaga, Christie's, and questionable nonprofit finances. Yes, you watched that right. Mannequins, shell companies, and satanic cult accusations. Buckle up, meet the power couple. Salma Hayek is married to François-Henri Pinault, the CEO of Kering, a luxury fashion conglomerate that owns brands like Gucci, Balenciaga, and Saint Laurent. Essentially, if it costs $3,000 and looks like something your grandma wore in 1973, Kering probably sells it. Pinault isn't just wealthy, he's disgustingly wealthy, boasting a net worth in the billions. And while Salma enjoys the glitz and glamour of fashion weeks and gala circuits, the real gossip isn't about her designer wardrobe, it's about what's lurking behind those velvet curtains. Balenciaga's PR nightmare. Let's start with Balenciaga, a brand that made headlines for all the wrong reasons when it ran an ad campaign featuring children posing with BDSM-themed teddy bears. Tasteful? Not even close. The backlash was swift and brutal, and while the brand scrambled to blame literally everyone, the photographers, the set designers, the cleaning crew probably, many wondered, who approved this in the first place? Salma, whose husband runs the parent company of Balenciaga, remained noticeably silent. No Instagram statement, no awkward late-night show interview, nothing. If we've learned anything about celebrity PR, silence speaks volumes, and not in a good way. Awkward encounters and Hollywood ties. During Paris Fashion Week, an interaction between Salma and fellow Balenciaga ambassador Nicole Kidman raised eyebrows, mostly because they seemed about this close to throwing down on the catwalk. A short clip circulated online showing what looked like a tense exchange. Salma trying to guide Nicole, Nicole brushing her off, and an awkward farewell. Now, maybe it was just an off day Nicole had recently lost her mother after all. Or maybe, as lip readers and armchair psychologists speculated, something deeper was going on. One viewer swore Nicole told Salma, "You don't need advice," in the snarkiest tone possible. Others felt Salma was being overly touchy. Either way, it's not what you expect from A-listers in haute couture. More like Real Housewives of the Runway. But wait, the Nicole connection gets even darker. Nicole's father, Anthony Kidman, has been the subject of long circulating, horrifying allegations of abuse involving a supposed secret society. While there's no solid evidence linking Nicole to any of this, the internet has a way of connecting dots until it becomes a constellation of speculation. And when those dots connect back to Salma's social circle, the conspiracy crowd eats it up like a $300 Michelin-starred dessert. Mannequins, genitalia, and Chapman Brothers. Now, here's where things veer from curious to what the actual hell. Christie's auction house, another company under the Pinault umbrella, has featured and sold works by Jake and Dinos Chapman, controversial artists whose style, and we're using that word generously, involves mannequin children with genitalia replacing noses and mouths. One piece shows conjoined child figures, another a dismembered child hanging from a tree. Yes, someone looked at that and said, "I'll take two." There are claims that Pinault owns some of these pieces himself. Whether or not they sit in his living room next to a Monet is unclear, but the art's very existence in a mainstream luxury auction house has raised a lot of questions. Questions like, why does this exist? And is this what rich people call taste? The nonprofit that paid nobody. And now, dear reader, let's talk about money. Specifically, the kind that disappears faster than ethics at a hedge fund party. A nonprofit reportedly linked to Pinault and Hayek was formed in 2023. It hosted a glittering gala, raised millions, and promised to support noble causes. But guess how much it paid out that year? Zero. Zilch. Nada, not even for payroll. No one got paid, no volunteers were listed, no programming took place. But somehow, a $1 million loan was made to a disqualified person. A financial term meaning someone with significant influence over the organization, i.e., someone who should definitely not be getting no-strings-attached checks from a nonprofit. Even stranger, the charities that were supposed to benefit from this gala didn't report receiving anything. One might even start whispering the dreaded phrase, shell company. Salma, silence, and the company she keeps. Throughout all of this, the Balenciaga backlash, the mannequin madness, the suspicious non-profit behavior, Salma Hayek has been as quiet as a Dior boutique after payday. No statements, no distancing herself. Just red carpets, designer gowns, and the occasional "I love my husband" soundbite. To be fair, she's not responsible for her husband's business decisions. But silence, especially from a woman who's built a brand on intelligence, activism, and female empowerment, feels out of step. And it's not just the silence, it's who she surrounds herself with. Celebrities like Jay-Z, P. Diddy, or whatever he's calling himself this week, and Tom Cruise are all within a few degrees of separation. And if you believe the online rumor mill, that's not a flattering circle. Blind items and rich people problems. Celebrity gossip site Dumois and several blind item accounts have spilled tea about Salma and Francois's fiery arguments, often sparked by his penchant for being surrounded by much younger women. And by younger, we mean questionably young, as in fresh out of Gen Z TikTok territory. These reports paint a picture of a marriage that's less Hollywood fairy tale and more luxury cage match, filled with passive-aggressive birthday parties and icy red carpet glares. One blind item even suggested their fights were more theatrical than emotional, like a luxury soap opera with Birkin bags and caviar tears, where every spat comes with designer handbags thrown for dramatic effect. While no one's filing for divorce just yet, insiders claim it's only a matter of time before a PR disaster hits the tabloids, especially as Francois keeps testing the limits of public tolerance. The power couple aesthetic might still look polished on Instagram, but off camera, it's allegedly as messy as a Fashion Week after-party. Is this a conspiracy or just a case of bad optics? Look, not everything has to be a Dan Brown novel. Sometimes bad taste in art is just that. Bad taste. And sometimes nonprofits are mismanaged out of incompetence rather than malicious intent. But the fact that there are this many unsettling dots is enough to make anyone raise an eyebrow. Or both. Between Balenciaga's sketchy campaigns, Christie's selling deeply disturbing art, nonprofit funds vanishing like your paycheck on rent day, and the eerie silence of everyone involved, it's no wonder that people are asking, what exactly is going on? Can you be complicit through silence? Salma Hayek is undoubtedly talented, charismatic, and successful. But, as with many public figures who marry into immense wealth and power, there comes a point where just being an actress doesn't cut it as an excuse. She may not be the mastermind behind Balenciaga's ads or Christie's eyebrow-raising art curation, but her continued participation in, and silence about, these worlds doesn't sit right with many. At best, it's willful ignorance. At worst, well, that's for you to decide. Just maybe think twice before idolizing people who treat mannequins with genital faces as interior design. And that's it for today's video. What do you think? Is this just a series of weird coincidences, or is there something darker hiding behind the designer logos and gala gowns? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video interesting, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe.